Good morning, friends. We shall continue our discussion in ethics. Today's topic is law versus ethics. Before that, we shall see quote for the day. Laws do not make a nation great, but instead the core of the hearts of men do. This was given by Swami Vivekananda. What does it mean? A nation's greatness is not measured in terms of the number of laws, but the people. If citizens are corrupt, even if there are heavy laws in place, there is no use, right? Okay, let's see what is law. Law is an ordinance of reason to achieve common good, designed to achieve the goal of justice. You can also write it is enacted by legislature. It is a codified form of laws. It has defined standards once it is enacted. How these laws are made? Laws as a moral basis. Law is guided by morals and values rather than ethics and values guided by law. For example, we have constitution. These provisions are made keeping in mind the aspirations of the people and to give a equal opportunity for all the citizens of the nation. In a way, following law is also ethical. And laws of a country reflect the kind of ethical values held by political authority. For example, we are a republic, democratic, secular country, and there is no defined official religion in our country, whereas other countries like Pakistan has a Islam as their religion. Officially they have declared it, so it depends on the kind of ethical values they are holding. It regulates social conduct and it is also a tool for reinforcement of moral action. It is a top down approach because it doesn't come from an individual, it is an external force which is acting on us. Therefore, it is top down. For example, we have Prevention of Corruption Act, but still corruption happens despite Indian Penal Code. We see a number of incidents happening, murders, rapes, etc. And there are a few limitations and restrictions we could say regarding the abortion laws, death penalty, and there are laws for smoking in public. Next, we shall see an action which is legal may not be ethical because laws has a defined scope and action may go beyond that scope. Laws cannot define intention, honesty, self commitment behind human action. A very good example for this is surrogacy law. It doesn't keep in mind the love affection factors. It is merely based on the you know uh, exploitation of a surrogate mother, but doesn't consider the parents side, those who are unable to give birth to a young ones. They are at a psychological pressure from the society and also emotionally they get disturbed. Therefore, a law should consider all the sides of the topic and enact accordingly. Laws may not othered in letter, not in spirit. Law may not provide details of finer aspects of human action and exceptional human action and situations. Ethical standards of people keep changing, but the pace of change in law doesn't match pace of laws in society. For example, Indian Penal Code was enacted in 1860 and today we are living in 2020, right? So there is no much change in the laws, and the rate at which laws change is not according to the way we live, not in pace with our way of living today. So I have given few examples. Let's see what is ethics now. First of all, ethics precede the development of concept of law, that is knowledge of human rights as right or wrong. These are basically established standards that guide human actions, whether in an act is right or wrong. These are standards that guide our conduct, gives moral base for our action. Ethics also reflect society's mindset, which changes with time. For example, robbing the rights of the slaves was considered legal as well as ethical in the mid 19th century, but now it is totally illegal. Therefore, values and ethics are considered broader than law. These are also to regulate social conduct, but there are no sanction as such, whereas laws are there to regulate the social conduct as well as there are sanctions in the form of penalties or punishments, etc. And ethics is a bottom up approach because it starts from an individual. For example, there are many a times there is conflict between law and ethics. Let's see one example. A below poverty line family is denied ration because they have not linked Aadhaar with ration card. This is according to law correct, but ethics says poverty is the greatest to violence. Denying ration for a family who is entitled to is not ethical, right? Similarly, there are many examples, but the difference between law and ethics is a man thinking of killing other person is not guilty in law, as he does not deprive the other person's right to life, but simply by harboring the thoughts of murder he is ethically guilty. Are you understanding this point? Similarly, men thinking of violating a woman's dignity are guilty from an ethical point of view, even though they may not be considered legally guilty unless they actually perform the act. In the same way, passive euthanasia, decriminalization of homosexual consensual sex, right to freedom to choose your partner, these are all few examples which have connected from newspapers and current affairs. Therefore, ethical standards are basis for human behavior, and people should give preference when in conflict to either one. Okay, it is not always good to follow strictly ethics. Therefore, there should be a balance. And before considering ethics or law, we should have few factors in mind. That is, what is the purpose of a human action? What are the circumstances? What would be the consequence of a human action? And whether our intentions are good or bad? And how does it conflict with human values? And is there a public interest? Then a action would be justified. So this is the difference between law and ethics. I hope you have understood the main differences. You can note down few of them if you find useful. um, you can also conclude in the following sentences also. um, I have highlighted, although ethics is broader than law is essential for order in society based on philosophy of greatest good to greatest number of people. Therefore, relationship between them is complex. Or you can also say that laws in general should be a facilitator for instilling ethics in society. It should not deter the ethical practice. The purpose of both is to create a just, equitable, rule based environment for humans to thrive in and flourish. I hope you have understood this session and gained something from it. Thank you so much.